off of YouTube as a creator for a while. I don't know how long it's been. But yeah, I'll go public with this. I'll go public with it. Uh there could be people out there that are wondering. Um and I will go public with this. I feel safe, I guess you could say, is the lack of a better word, to share this. I'm just going within for a minute just to check in with myself and um yeah. So a few months ago I made a video. I don't know how many months ago. Has it been 2 or 3 months? I really don't know. I made a video about the relationship with me and my heart and my woman parts. And it was a very personal thing. Like, ooh, I'm gonna share this. Oh my God. And like, there's a connection there between my heart and my woman parts. I don't even know how long the video was. I can't even tell you. I think there was one video, it was like 20 minutes, and there was another video like an hour and a half. And it's like, I moved on from that. I mean, yeah, there's a connection there, but I know I like to be taken care of, like, loved. When I say taken care of, I don't mean sexually. I'm talking about loved. Like, okay. So, talking about like divine feminine, divine masculine, this world, or I don't want to say this world. I'm going to say the USA. I'm going to say America as a country is very capitalistic. We're very the country of America is very masculine oriented, very capitalistic, very for a lack of a better word, and I hope the algorithm doesn't like mess this up to make it like a political thing, but I'm gonna say it, and hopefully the algorithm doesn't mess it up. T TRUMP. Very big money, big business, big corporation, and just a lot of TRUMP. Like my car, my job, my identity, my job. Get off my land. You are standing on my land. That is my boat. That is my house. There's a fence there, borders, boundaries. The USA is very male, masculine, very just overly doing it on the capitalistic side. Everything is energy, and I have been going more into the divine feminine, and this is going to cover a lot. I don't know how long the video is going to be. I really don't know. I've grown out my hair. I used to spike it. I'm growing it out wild, to the point where I just don't really care. Looks like pretty wild hair, but I really don't care. I'm going through a little bit of an ego death. The more ego you have around your identity, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a this, your identity. In the West, in America, we here tend to overdo it. Our identity is all wrapped up in our career. We are always asking people, what do you do? We don't ask the question, what do you want to do? We don't ask the question, what do you value in life? We don't ask those questions. Now, we may reflect on that when we're dying, Oh God, I spent 57 hours a week every week providing for my family as a firefighter or as a tow truck driver, and I worked overtime to give my family this, but I never spent time with my family because I was always working, and I thought it would be worth working overtime to give my family this, and I just had to stick it to the man. I had to work 75 hours a week to make 75 or $100,000 a year, and the economy in California is different than Texas. The economy in California is different than in Maine or New York. Um, the economy in California is different. So if you want a one bedroom apartment and you want to rent the whole apartment, you're probably going to pay $2,000 a month in Southern California. If you want to rent a room, just a room, like be a renter, and you want to rent one bedroom, not the whole place, just one room, you're probably going to pay $1,500 a month. Not true in Texas, not true in Alabama. The economy is different. So now let me go back to the divine feminine and divine masculine. Because of this way we live here in America, what do you do? We are all wrapped up in our identity. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a fisherman, I'm a goat herder, I'm a candle maker, or I'm a sex therapist, I'm a therapist, I do EMDR, I'm a shoe salesman. Okay, so for me, okay, let's go back to the past. Ego, right? I got my associate's degree in business in, I don't know what year, 2007, from MSJC. What is that? Mount San Jacinto Junior College, or Mount San Jacinto College. Yeah, Mount San Jacinto College, or Junior College. There's one in Menifee and there's one in San Jacinto. I went to the one in Menifee. So way back in 2007, I got my associates. Not too big of an ego. I think I had 90 credits or something like that, and then I transferred to University of Redlands in 2007, and they were all upper, like, junior level classes, senior level classes. I only had to take one lower level class, and that was managerial accounting, because I took all the other stuff at MSJC. 2009, graduated from that University of Redlands, and that was in Temecula. It's a satellite campus, School of Business. And that was capstone class was project management. Never used it, couldn't find a job, couldn't find a paid job to do anything. Everybody wanted me to have 5 years experience entry level. I started to get very pig-headed. I started to go down that road. And then I decided, well, student loans, guys. I didn't have the money. So everything was student loans. So it was like $30,000-$40,000 in student loans just to go to the University of Redlands. And then 2009 came, and I said, yeah, I think I want to go get my MBA. And I will tell you this true story. My best friend said to me, if you want to always have a job, get your business degree, you'll always have a job. That didn't turn out because a lot of these companies were internships. They were unpaid. And I live in Paris, California, Perris. It's about 65 miles east if you just take a ruler and get a map, Long Beach, and just go like a straight line east. You keep on going east, you will hit Paris, California. So it's like 89 miles north of San Diego, and like 25 miles south of Riverside, and 25 miles north of Temecula. People think that Paris is by Hemet, and it's not. And some people think Paris is by San Bernardino, and it's not. So, all these jobs that I was looking for, they were all unpaid internships, right? I couldn't afford to drive to LA with zero income. I wasn't a rich kid. Plus, I was 30, I don't know, 36, 35, 30 something, living with mom, not paying rent. I had a very long streak of unemployment. very long streak. 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it was a very long streak of unemployment. And the longer I got unemployed, the more desperate I got. And I was shotgun applying to everything. And when you get in that desperate mode, it's not good. It's not good at all. You send out a frequency to the universe when you're desperate, and it actually has a vibration of I'm not really worth a lot, because you're so desperate and you're saying you're willing to take anything. And I was just so desperate for any job. And I got really angry at the world. And by 2011, because I went to Argosy University, which is now bankrupt, but I guess it went bankrupt after 2011. Um, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I think I still owe on the student loans. But anyway, 2009 came. I said, yeah, I think I want to go get my MBA. So my undergrad was in business information systems, still a bachelor's degree in business administration, but the emphasis was business information systems, and the capstone was that project management. MBA time, I really wanted to get MBA in human resources, but it was all online. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do an all online thing. So I drove to Orange County, right by the Crystal Cathedral. That's where Argosy University was. It's like basically Garden Grove area. Every Saturday, I drove that far from Paris to Garden Grove. And I could do it because I was getting loan money. I don't know how often, every 3 months, every 6 months, I don't know. I had to basically save, had to plan out my money, $500, $300 a month or whatever, just to be able to drive that one trip a week to Orange County, one car ride a week to Orange County to do it, because I didn't want to do online classes. And it was like nonprofit and public administration, but still MBA. It doesn't really matter. Everybody takes finance, everybody takes leadership, everybody takes change management, everybody does statistics, right? Everybody does all these MBA classes. They're all the same. It doesn't really matter what your emphasis is in what MBA. It's all the same shit, right? So by the time 2011 came, I had this big huge ego, and it got inflated. And I remember applying to all these jobs, and they were all internships, and they were all unpaid. Some of them were in Chicago. Some of them were in Texas. Some of them were in Maine. A lot were in LA. Again, I couldn't drive to LA 65 miles one way or 120 miles round trip. I couldn't afford to move to LA because I didn't have rich parents to pay my rent. So I was basically stuck. And I went back to basic customer service jobs, which I really hated. I really did hate. And I noticed some stuff, and now I'm more aware now of the things going on. So I'm going to go back into the energy. Follow me here. Follow me. So I was, as time grew, I got more of a big ego, and it came to a head. This big ego came to a head in 2023. So last year, let's go back to 2022. So my mom died in 2018 in February. My dad, my biological father, which I was not close to, died April 12th of 2023, but I wasn't close to him. And I idolized him when I was 4. I did. I wanted to be like my father when I was 4. I idolized him. But I had a lot of anger toward my mom. Once my mom divorced my dad, I was like, how dare you divorce my dad? How dare you divorce my dad? And 2022 came. I was working for the county of Riverside. for DPSS. I took the job. It was 4 months of training. There was no customer contact. It was all just like what do you call it? A mock, uh, like a mock website to train you to do the software. So for 4 months, DPSS. What's that? It's where you go to get food stamps. It's where you go to get Medi-Cal, IEHP to sign up for that. This is Riverside County only. I'm not talking about San Diego, LA County. It's different. I mean, it's still DPSS, Department of Public Social Services. It's an eligibility technician, and that's what I was doing. And I did it, and I was like, yeah, okay, fine. But I didn't really have time to grieve. My life coach and friend Diane Donahue died February 27th, 2022. I was hired March 5th, March 10th, March 15th. And we were like doing work online and stuff, like training and signing documents and all this by like March 20th. So like a month after her death, we were doing these trainings online and stuff to prepare to go into this virtual training, like a mock, it was like a mock website for the real job. And that mock training started in, I want to say like May, like around May 2022. So Diane died February 27th, 2022. We got very close. She was my life coach, became friends, but I was told I didn't have enough time to grieve, and I started that work too soon, that job too soon, but I was basically desperate. I needed income. I needed it to support myself. And took the job, and May, June, July, and August was this virtual online database, basically learning how to do the job of the eligibility technician to evaluate if people, families, or just one person can get on food stamps, which is called EBT in California, which is called CalFresh, or if they can get on IEHP, which is Medi-Cal. And if they couldn't, then there were calculations and stuff like that to learn how to tell people, okay, you don't qualify for Medi-Cal, but you can get on the Covered California, and you could do this for $5 a month or $10 a month. There was calculations. That was a 4-month training with no public contact. August, September came, boom. Now we're in the office. Now we're meeting people. I got scared. I was like, oh God, I'm not ready. I didn't have a lot of confidence. And I was like this. And guess what? I was like this. Like biting my face. I was pulling my hair out. And I spiked it. I mean, it was like really short. And I was like, it was crazy. I quit my job in October 2022. And by Christmas, I was desperate. I was setting out a signal, desperate for any job. When you send out that signal to the universe, you get any job. You will get anything. And it may not be good. It may not be in your best interest. So don't ever send out a signal to the universe that you want any job. That is like the worst thing you can do. So, 20 minutes in, and I'm still talking about this because I'm building up. Right? I'm building up. And I went within and I said, yes, I will share this. So, this huge eagle, yeah, I'm a huge eagle. This huge ego is building up. I have an MBA. I shouldn't be working in customer service. I have an MBA. I shouldn't be working, and this huge disgust for customer service jobs, and huge disgust for working with the public, because I'm going to basically give you that old woman, because I'm going through ego death right now. So, why should I work with the public? The public sucks. The public is stupid. They're sucks. They get mad, and they all over you, and they vomit all over you, and they act like it's your fault. This is wrong, and they act like it's your fault, and you're just like, hi, how are you? How can I help you? And the jobs, or the bosses expect you to smile all the time, when some customers treating you like shit, and it's a very high stress job. And I've had all this customer service. I don't want to work in customer service. I don't. That's the ego, right? I don't want to work in customer service. No more front desk roles. I've done that enough, okay? And because of that internship unpaid thing that I experienced applying to all these jobs in 2009 and 2011 and 2012, I was like, man, this is all I'm finding is just unpaid internships. This is insane. And if you don't have that managerial experience or anything on your resume that suggests anything, like, there's jobs out there that are entry level that expect you to have 5 years experience. That's insane, but that's what's happening in America now. And I'm to the point where I want to move out of the country. I don't want to live here anymore because it's so male oriented. Push hard, put all your eggs in one basket, push hard for sales, push hard for customers, push hard. No, I want to receive. I want to be in the divine flow. I want to be in the divine feminine. I don't want to push hard for sales. So let's go back to December. So December 2022, because I quit that job because I was biting my nails and I was like, oh God, I'm not confident of talking to people. I'm scared. I was very scared of talking to customers. I quit the job. I remember the day. It was October 6th. People that know me say, oh God, how do you remember these dates? I don't know. I just do. Okay. So December comes, Christmas comes, 2022. I put out a vibe that I'm desperate, and I get 2 jobs back to back. One offer was like, I don't know, the 10th or the 11th or the 12th of January. It used to be RGIS. It turned into WIS International. Those are the ones that do the inventory. People thought I worked in a warehouse doing inventory, and I was like, no, it's a store. So you go to that store, and you tell them what hours you want. You either come in at 6 p.m. and you work till we don't know when. That's the thing. You don't know when. You work till, you start at 6 or 4 in the afternoon or 6 in the afternoon, and you could get off at midnight. Or you could start at 6 p.m. and get off at 4 a.m. Or you can start at 8 p.m. and get off at midnight. Or you can start at 4 p.m. and get off at midnight. Or you can start at 8 p.m. and work till 5 a.m. You just never knew, because you never knew when the counting in the store would be done. And you never knew how many people were going to show up. If there was 10 people scheduled, but only 5 people showed up, it's going to take longer to count on the inventory. So you would go to this store and then drive. You would drive to this store, and then you would drive to this store, and they would give you a schedule. So I was not willing to start work at 4 a.m. in the morning, because I used to work for RGIS way back in 2015, or yeah, I think it was 2015. It was like December, and I was working like 15 or 20 hours a week. It was ridiculous. I was getting up early, starting at 4 a.m., and working like 3 hours, or like these little stores, like 3 hours. And you would never know when the inventory count would be done. They couldn't give you an end time because they didn't know. So I would say it's really good for somebody that's like not an MBA and you don't have any education. And it's really good for somebody that doesn't have a big ego. And it's really good for someone that like is married or retired and you just want to fill up your day. And somebody that can squat. I can't squat. There's no way I can squat. Not since 88 when this hip dislocated. I can't squat. So I have to like literally sit on the floor and get down on the floor, because you have to count all the rows in the store, up all the way down. So I can't squat. So if you could squat, you do not have a big ego, you do not have an education, or you went through your own ego death, and you're retired, or you're married and you're just looking to fill up your day, then WIS International is a good company to work for. It's great. So I didn't want to start at 4 a.m. and get off at noon, or start at 4 a.m. and get off at like 6 a.m., or start at 5 a.m. and work till 10 or 11 or noon or 1. Some days I remember we had a Toys R Us in Marietta, California. When there was a Toys R Us, there was pretty big. I don't know how many square feet. I'm not sure, but it's a big store, just like Burlington Coat Factory or Ross. I think we started at 4 or 5 a.m. I don't think we got done that day until like 5 or 6 p.m. or something like that. It was so big. So, and you never know how many people are going to show up, right? So I told this company, WIS, in January 2023. Was it 23? Yeah, it was 2023. Was it 23? Yeah, it was January 20. Yeah, it was January 2023, and I'm getting my years mixed up. I told them that I would start the PM shift like 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. to whatever. Because I was banking on getting another job somewhere else starting at 7, 8, or 9 in the morning. The only thing was, when you are working this job with WIS International, if you do go in at 8 or 6 at night, you can't work a half a shift. You have to work your full shift. Even though they may say, we don't know when the shift will end. We don't know. We don't know. So this is what happened to me. I applied to WIS International. I got a call or an email that said, congratulations. I had an interview, and they put me on the schedule, and there's an app you go on, and I was like, cool, I got my schedule, and one day I had training, one day it was at a Rite Aid or something, and it was like 7 to 10 a.m. or 7 to noon, and it just so happens that I had applied to H&R Block as well, and I'm not a tax person. They do have receptionists there. They're called something else, some fancy name like client services coordinator or something. It's just a receptionist. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Very boring. Not a lot of left brain. Left brain is analytical. Right brain is creative, right? Left brain is very analytical. And I'm pretty analytical when I get in that male energy. I like data. I like thinking in numbers. I like metrics. So that hi, how are you role got me pissed and got me very sarcastic. And I will go into that down the road in a little bit. So I told somebody on the interview, on this WIS interview, I told them, hey, I just want to let you know that I did interview for H&R Block. They did offer me a job, and I don't know when I'm going to start. And I don't know when I'm going to start, but I do know I'm going to start soon. And I told them, I was very forthcoming with WIS on the interview, that I got the job offer. I got it. I just didn't know when I started. And I knew that I would be starting at like 8 or 9 in the morning. And I told them, I don't know how I'm going to be able to work both jobs if I'm coming in like at 6 or 7 o'clock at night and working till 2, 3, or 4 in the morning. And then I have to go to bed, but then I have to be at work at 9 o'clock the next morning. I was like, I don't know how that's going to work out, right? Because WIS International couldn't tell me, well, you're going to be working 6 p.m. to midnight. I mean, if that was the case, great. 6 p.m. to midnight, you work a 6-hour shift. You leave the place at 6, you leave the store at 12 at midnight, and let's say it's a 45-minute drive home. Let's say it's a 30-minute drive home, which could be an hour and a half. You just never know where they're gonna send you. And let's say you leave the store at midnight. You're done. You're done counting everything. Great. You get home at 1 a.m. Now you wake up at 6:30, and you get ready for work. And now you are clocking in at 9 o'clock in the morning for H&R Block, and you're there greeting people and helping people get checked in and whatnot. And you're calling. We had a campaign calls to call people, right? So, but because of the nature of the job, there was no way for me to know that I would be getting off at midnight. There was no way for me to know. Would I work till 8 p.m. to 3 a.m.? Would I work 8 p.m. to 4 a.m.? Well, that was a problem, because if the inventory is not done until 3 or 4 a.m., and then I'm coming home at 4:30, or I'm getting home at 5, because the job's 8 at night, and it's a big store, like Burlington Coat Factory is, or like Toys R Us was. These big, huge stores, these big, huge, like, like a Winco. Winco is pretty big, right? You'd have to count the inventory in the Winco. So, if I was to work 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. and then leave the store at 3 a.m. and let's say I get home at 3:45. Okay, now I'm going to bed at 4 a.m. Okay, great. I'm going to bed at 4. But I got to wake up at 7 a.m. and then I got to leave at like 8 a.m. to be at work by 9. That was a problem. And I explained this to them on the interview for WIS International. I went into Rite Aid. It was a 1-day training. And the guy was like, Sandra, I know on the interview you were talking with someone, la, 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 la. This is what happens when you put a desperate energy out into the universe. You get anything and it doesn't work out for you. It really doesn't work in your favor. So I was very desperate in December 2022. And I worked 1 day for WIS International, or WIS, whatever it's called. And I remember going in on the app and I was like, okay, great. I worked this day and it was like 2 days off. And then the next, 2 days off. It was like Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday I go in at 8 o'clock, and it was all the way in Temecula. And Temecula is like a 35-minute drive. If it's traffic, it's a 45-minute drive. And if it's by that casino down there, it's an hour drive. 79 south from where I live is, if there's traffic, is a 45 to 55-minute drive. Deep Temecula by the casino, Red Hawk. That is a 45 to an hour drive with traffic. And it's deep Temecula, way down there, Red Hawk, way down there. And on the first day, the guy was like, I know you emailed so-and-so. And he was like, did you get another job? And I said, I did. He goes, when do you start? And I said, I don't know. But I said, I will like to ask if there's a way, if I am allowed to. Most jobs would allow you to do this, I would think, unless employers have changed. But I did ask. And I had to explain this to the unemployment office as well. Is there any way I can come in half a shift? Is there any way I can come in at 6 at night and leave at midnight? Or come in at 8 at night and leave at midnight? That way I get home at 1 a.m. and I could sleep 6 hours. And then I can be able to clock in at, leave home at 8 a.m. and then clock in at 9 a.m. for my job. And they said, would you be able to work both jobs? And I said, well, I don't know. Would you allow people here to work half a shift? Because I said I would be more than willing to work half a shift, to where I come in at 6 at night or 7 at night or 8 at night and work till midnight. That way I can go get sleep and then go to the next job and work. And I said, I can't tell you how many hours I'm going to be working. I don't know. It could be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It could be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It could be 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. I said, there's just no way for me to know because I haven't gotten my schedule yet. And the guy said, okay. And that was it. There was no communication. That was a day one, whatever day one was. Monday, Tuesday, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, right? Within 2 days, I checked the app. I was off the schedule. Gone. Just like that. No communication. I had all these days on the schedule. I was scheduled for this store over here on day 3. Day 4, I was scheduled for this one. Day 5, I was scheduled for that one. Within 2 days, I was off the schedule. Nothing. And I was like, well, there went that job. Just they didn't want me to work for another company. I guess they didn't want me to have 2 part-time jobs. So that's what happens when you put this vibe out into the universe that you're desperate for any job and you're willing to do anything because it never works out in your favor. You're basically saying you're worthless. You're like, I'm so desperate. It just doesn't work out. So I go to H&R Block. I take their training. We had to go through all this tax training, even though I'm not a tax professional. I was a receptionist, even though their fancy title, oh God, so fancy. Let's jazz it up. Client services coordinator. Hi, how are you? This is H&R Block. Or campaign calls. Notice that you haven't been to H&R Block in 2 years. We're still making appointments. Give us a call at blah, blah, blah. We would love to have you in. We could do approve online, and you don't even have to come into the office. You just sign into the MyBlock app, and we can help you with that. And you could do we could do your taxes, and you don't even have to come in. You just upload all your documents to the MyBlock, and we can just do it, and you don't even have to be here. Here's our number. Look forward to doing business with you. Bye. Very boring, very tedious, very boring. Great for somebody that doesn't have an education. Great for someone that doesn't have a big ego. And let me tell you, when you have a big ego and you're going through ego death, it's shit. You're going to feel it. It's shit. It's hard. Because you're going from analytical to creative. You're going from, I got to make 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year at any cost, to I don't fucking care. I just want to have fun. And I want to have a meaning in my life. And I want to have love. And I want to have joy. And I want to bring meaning to other people's lives. And I want to make a difference in the world, instead of I got to make 70, 80, $100,000 a year at any cost. And I got to use this MBA, right? That's ego death. And it's hard when you have a big ego. It's hard. It's horrible. It's gut-wrenching. So that job lasted until like April 10th. Why? Even though I was the receptionist, it's still a seasonal job. People do taxes January, February, March, and April. I was not a tax professional. There was no need for me to stay there. It was just no need. There are some H&R Blocks that stay open throughout the year, but not every H&R office is open. And some of them are open throughout the year, but you have to make an appointment. You need to call, and it'll say by appointment only, like if you need to do your taxes in May or June or July or whatever, because you need to file an extension because you didn't get them done by April 15th. So I enjoyed that job for about 2 weeks. It was great. I was taking out the trash. I was like, wow. After about 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, yeah, this job ain't for me. I'm done. I did ask for more duties. I said, I'm bored. I would like more duties. They said they would give me more, and it ended up not happening because the more duties went to somebody else that was doing them on those days, like inventory or counting things or something like that. So that was April 10th. So April 10th comes around, and I see this ad for Verizon on Indeed, and this is where my ego got very big. Money. Okay, I found out I like money. Okay, everything is energy. Energy doesn't die. It just goes here, goes there, transforms. Everything is energy. So I saw this ad on Indeed, and I was like, what's this, a sales job? And I was like, I don't like sales. I don't like talking to people. I don't want to talk to customers. I don't want to talk to the public. The public sucks. They're mean. They're cruel. Susie Q makes an appointment with someone, and she messes up on Monday, but I don't work on Monday. I only work Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. This customer comes in on a Saturday, finds out there was a mistake made on an order on Monday, but I wasn't there. That customer's going to take it out on me, and I'm expected to smile and be, oh, let me fix that for you. Are you kidding me? I did that for 25, 30 years. Except for very few jobs where I've had. The best job I ever had was working in a factory. It was actually a sheet metal factory where I combed out sheet metal. It was little coils it was an oil cooling part for cars. It's really cool. And that was in the 1990s. That was so cool because I put my stamp of approval on those coils. And I was a production worker. It was so good. It was so good. Man, I wish I could have that job again. But that job was sold to China or Japan or something in, I don't know what year it was, 2004. And I left in 97 to go to Bible college. So I lost it. I said, nope, don't. It was a layoff. So I said, nope, I'm not going back to the job. And they were like, why? And I'm like, because I'm going to Indiana. So that's a regret, but I got to let that go. Can't live in regrets. So I saw this ad for Verizon for Victra. Victra is an authorized dealer of Verizon phone plans. So I said, okay, $25 an hour for the first 3 months, no commission. After 3 months, commission. It goes down to $20 an hour, but there's commission. And I thought, well, that's a little low, $20 an hour. I have an MBA. I do have a lot of experience. I may not have 5 years experience in payroll. I may not have 5 years experience in Excel. I may not have 4 years experience in this, but I do have a lot of experience. I do have a lot of skills in admin. I'm able to keep track of many different things, like this going over here, that over here. This I'm able to keep track of a lot of different things. I may not have all the experience that a company wants, like must have 3 years experience for entry level. Okay, that's the world America lives in. These companies expect bullshit from people. I'm sorry, they do. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. I'll apply. All right, $25 an hour for the first 3 months, no commission. We couldn't get commission, but it was $25 an hour. After 3 months, it went down to 20 an hour. That's great for fast food workers. That's great for people that have no education, just a high school graduation, high school diploma, right? If you have no ego, no education, no nothing, you're going to think $20 an hour is a lot of money, right? So this is big ego, Sandra. This is ego death, right? So I was like, okay, all right. So I started working, and I was like, wow, $25 an hour is pretty darn good. It was like an extra $400 a week, because once that 3-month period went away, I was like, uh-oh, now I'm only making $20 an hour. I was like, oh, shit. Now I got into this male yuck, which I call male yuck. And I was like, oh, I got to push hard for sales. So I did get the job. I interviewed in April. I think because I applied in April of 2023, right after H&R Block ended. And the poor lady from Georgia or whatever, she thought I lived in Salinas, and I was like, I don't even know where that's at. Is that by San Francisco? I didn't even know. I said, you need to call me when you get to the area of Marietta, because I applied to the Marietta area. And then she called me in like 2 weeks, and she's like, you're in LA or Orange County? And I'm like, no, you need to get to Marietta. I said, can you get a map or something? I said, do you live in California? I said, check your records. I applied to Marietta. I said, you're getting close. I don't live in LA or Orange County. She called again a third time, and I said, now you got it, baby. That's me. And I applied to the store in Marietta. She interviewed me on the spot. It was a 2-minute interview, 3-minute interview. And yeah, I had telemarketing experience, and I had to rebuttal. And, when somebody says no, you got to say, yeah, but, all that yeah, but crap. And after working for 3 months, I got used to that extra $5 an hour, right? That all went away. I started May 25th. Training was like a week. So I was on the floor inside Costco, inside Marietta Costco. I did not work for Costco. I worked for Verizon Victra. So I was a vendor inside Costco. And that was like May, June, July. So by July 25th, it was at 20 an hour plus commission. That's when I gotta push hard for sales. I gotta push hard. I gotta manipulate people into saying yes. Very, very push this American push hard for sales. Push hard. And it became a driving force in me. And I loved the money, but after about, 6 months, I started to not like the job. By December or November of 2023, I was putting it out of the universe. I'm not going to be working for Verizon anymore. I'm done working in sales. I'm done with the push hard for sales. Push hard for sales. I'm done with it. Push hard for sales. Like, no. I want to be in the flow. Divine feminine. Just receive. Just receive. You don't have to push hard. I'm going to be very graphic here. I'm thinking of a male having sex with a female, and he's like very, very forceful, like raping a woman. I'm going to push. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get off. I'm going to rape you. That's what I'm feeling. That's what it feels like. That push hard for sales feels like a raping of customers. Like I'm going to manipulate you in a way that you don't want to be manipulated. And I'm going to make you get 2 phones and perks and a tablet and a this, because everything was based on a structure of contribution. So if you sold a VHI, Verizon Home Internet, it was $200 contribution. And if your contribution was $3,000, then you would get 25% of that. So you just basically take 3,000, you multiply it by 0.25, that's about $800. There's your commission check. And of course, that $800 or whatever $3,000 is, because the $3,000 contribution was not commission. That is contribution. You have to multiply it by 0.25%. And whatever that is your commission. But that commission wasn't net. It was gross. So that 800 or whatever it is taxed. So let's say it's 800, okay? Take 15 or 20% off of that. So now you get your commission check and it's $600 above what your $20 an hour is. And we got paid every 2 weeks. So that culture in sales, push hard for sales, manipulate people. I put in the universe, I will not be working in sales anymore. I do not want to do this. I do not believe that I have to work 40 hours a week in a job I hate just to get the amount of money I want. I want a joy job. My entire vibe changed. My entire vibe changed in like November, December 2023. And I was literally sharing with my coworkers, I'm not going to be working for Verizon in 6 months. I'm not going to be working for Verizon in 4 months. And they were like, you're not? And I'm like, absolutely not. And they were like, why? And I'm like, because I'm just too analytical. And I was telling them I was oversharing. I was like, I'm just too analytical. I need to be in accounting, or I need to be working with metrics. I need to be behind the computer, not with customers. I'm too analytical. I don't want to do sales. And somebody even said, so you want to be a receptionist? And I went, do you need a bachelor's degree or a master's degree to be as a receptionist? And I think someone said, I don't know. And I said, okay, do you need a degree to be a front desk clerk? Do you need any type of degree? And they said no. And I go, then why would I want to be a receptionist? I said, I want to use this brain. Not, hi, how are you? Not, hi, let me help you with your problems, and get yelled at because Susie Q made a mistake on Monday and I'm working on Friday, and it's not my fault. And you're not going to treat me like that. You're not going to yell in my face. And I'm sorry, it should not be expected that people be pleasant all the time when you're getting chewed out for something that's not your fault. And it happened over and over and over again. I worked in the mental health field, guys. I worked with the homeless. It wasn't a homeless shelter. People thought it was. I'd have to tell people, you go over there, that's the homeless shelter. And they go, where? And I go, next door. And they go, where? And I go, I don't know. I don't work for the homeless shelter. You have to go outside, ask the people on the street, ask them. They'll tell you where to line up. And they go, oh, you mean that line over there? And I go, I don't know. I just told you I don't work for the homeless shelter. Somewhere outside, there is a line for the homeless shelter. That's not here. If you want that shelter, you have to go talk to the people on the street. They line up around 1, 2, or 3 in the afternoon. I don't know what time they line up. I don't work for the homeless shelter. I work here. And they didn't want to hear the last question. I was an intake coordinator. Do you have a mental illness, or have you ever been diagnosed with mental illness? They didn't want to hear that. And the only way they could stay there in the day room, just sit there, watch TV, and get oatmeal, and get a hot dog, and maybe wash their clothes if they had to wash their clothes, which they had to sign up to do that, which was free. And it wasn't, I don't think it was every day. But the only way they could stay there in that day room, just basically watching TV and getting oatmeal and getting a hot dog for lunch, is if they said, yes, I have a mental illness. If they didn't, because we couldn't tell them why, that we were funded by the state and the county. It was funded by, behavioral health, Riverside County Behavioral Health. We couldn't tell them that. You know, a lot of people just sat there. They didn't get the help they need. They didn't get the mental health help that they need from the clinic that was 3 miles away, because none of them wanted to walk 3 miles to the clinic to get the help they needed. Some of them couldn't walk. Some of them were like, you know, taking heroin, and they were just blitzed out, gone, right? Every day, blitzed out, right? So, or drunk or whatever, and just, and it's sad, guys. It's really sad. Some women peed on themselves because they didn't want to be raped. You know, that's really sad. When you pee on yourself because you don't want to be raped, that's like really bad. So, where was I? So I take this job. I'm putting the vibe out. November 2023. I'm not going to be working for Verizon. I'm not doing the sales. La 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 la. But I liked the money, man. It was like, I don't know, minimum $600, $700 net a week. Minimum $600, $700 net a week. I think 1 month I made $2,900 gross in 2 weeks. $2,900, almost 3 bands in 2 weeks, but that's gross. So like, I'm gonna say 1 week I made like $2,300 net in 2 weeks, because it was 2 week pay period. So I got money and I used it for extra things. I was able to go to Joshua Tree. I was able to pay for a hotel. I was able to take extra classes that were like $290 every 9 weeks. I was able just to do so much with that. And I had an inheritance, guys, that when my mom died, I had a quite large inheritance, and I had to keep on dipping into it because I wasn't working full time every single month. When she died in February 2018, it took me like 8 months to find a job. It did. She died in February 2018. I didn't find a job. I didn't find employment until October 2018. So I lived off that inheritance. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October 2018. Every month, draining $2,000-$3,000 from that inheritance every month, because I could not find a job for 8 months. And whenever I had a streak of unemployment, I just dip into that inheritance account. I had to. You know, there's no other way. And it was a choice. I told the universe, I will not be working in sales. I'm not doing this sales thing. I'm not doing it. And I began this journey of, I want a joy job. I want a joy job. I want to be paid in joy bucks. This push hard for sales, this masculine corporate America, TRUMP, my car. It's my land. Get off my property. There's a fence there. Don't you see? We got to build a wall. And there's some things about me that I'm more one way than the other. But, and I hope that the algorithm doesn't like ban me or anything like that, because I'm saying things. I don't want this to be all political. It's about energy. And I can't believe I'm almost an hour in and I still haven't shared the big thing. So, but I wanted to give a little bit of backstory, because ego death is very, like, the bigger your ego, the harder you're going to fall. And I've never made $70,000 a year. I've never made $60,000 a year ever. If I had made that, it would have been a bigger ego death, because in America, we attach what we do to our identity. We do not ask people here, what would you like to do? We are asked, what do you do? Well, what I do is not who I am. What I do, like, I'm unemployed now, guys. I'm between jobs. What would I like to do? Well, I would like to DJ. I would like somebody to give me $500 extra so I can get a new computer, because I don't have the $500 extra. for a new laptop. And it might cost me more to get a good laptop. It might cost me $700 or $800 to get a new, not used, laptop, because my laptop crashed in April, and I bought that sucker used, and it's that HDD drive. It's not SSD, it's HDD or whatever. Very old. It's 2016. So it's not going to be able to do what I need to do. I would like to study more astrology and be able to read books and read more. I can't read right now, guys. I can't read. I'm too much, how do I put it? Because everything's energy. It's really hard to read, because to read, you need to be in the analytical brain, and I'm not there. I'm more in the creative side, the right side of the brain. That's where I'm at. And I'm not able to read a lot. I'm just not there like I was, say, 3 months ago. I'm just not there. Reading is hard right now. It takes a lot of energy. So right now I just kind of want to paint. I think the last painting I did was a week ago. So I might get some canvas or something and start painting, because that seems more my flow right now. But I did like the money, because like I said, minimum, I was getting like $700, $800 a week net. So every 2 weeks, it was like $1,400, $1,600 net. And that was with the commission I made. I always had a commission. Sometimes the commission was $400. Sometimes the commission was $300. Sometimes the commission was $200. Sometimes the commission was $50. It just depended. But the management team pushed us to manipulate the people. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I sent a vibe out, joy job. I want to be paid in joy bucks. If I do what I love, I will be paid. And I will be paid well. And I firmly believe that. So I'm shifting, and I'm like, why apply to every single job? Why do that again? Why send an energy that I'm desperate for any job? I know what happens. I know what happens when you are desperate for any job. It's not good. You will, if you are sending a vibe out to the universe to get any job, it will probably not work out for you. I did that when I worked for Panera Bread. My landlord told me to work for Panera Bread. He said, our daughter works there. Well, she doesn't have a master's degree. She doesn't have the ego I do, and great. She has a different skill set. My skill set is very unique. Analytical. Data, not art, not how can I help you. And I hurt my back lifting a very wet, heavy bag full of wet aprons. I hurt my back because some coworker said, lift that up and put it over there. I didn't get help. I hurt my back on that job. It was bad. And they took me off the schedule. That was 2021, I think. So, and my landlord said, work at Panera Bread. And I was like, okay, whatever. Won't do that again. I never worked in fast food before. That was the first time I did it in 2021, because it was an essential job. How could fast food be essential? I don't know. America's backwards. So, don't put a vibe out that you're desperate for any job. Don't. It's just not worth it. So, now to the big part. Because of this energy, right? This push hard for sales, push hard for clients, put all your energy, push, you gotta push hard and just put more effort in, and it kind of backfires. It backfires. If you're not in a divine flow to receiving and you're resisting, what you resist persists. And the more you push hard, the more you're not going to allow the flow to come in. You can't, if there's a wave coming and you try to push that wave, it's just going to hurt you, baby. Just go with the flow, right? You don't want to push that wave. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. It's okay. Stop resisting. So for about, let's see. Let's go back to January 23, or this year, sorry, 24. January 24, I was working in Marietta. I wanted to follow a lady that was a very strong saleswoman. And I said, I want to go to Lake Elsinore Costco to work there as a vendor. They said, okay. I wanted to follow her. She didn't know the store was so slow. She went back to Marietta. I stayed in Lake Elsinore. I was upset. My sales went down instantly. Instantly, my sales went down because there's more money in Marietta than Lake Elsinore. Lake Elsinore is a little bit poorer. And the people don't dress up when they go into Lake Elsinore. It's a slower store. The people dress up to go to the Costco in Marietta. I don't know why, but they do. And the people in Lake Elsinore will come in their pajamas to go to Costco. It's just a different culture. And my sales went down immediately, and it hurt. And that was January 8th, January 10th. February came of this year, 24, and I was told my hours were going down to 8 hours a week from 40. I was allowed to work overtime in Marietta. I was allowed to work overtime. I worked, I usually had Tuesday and Sunday off. So because I worked Friday and Saturday, my sales were up. But by the time I went to, by the time like it was like Christmas or Thanksgiving, I said I want to work Monday through Friday only. And that was like, because my sales went down when I didn't work Saturday. Then once I went to Lake Elsinore, it was like, 8 hours a week. Whoa, that was February 8th, February 10th, February 15th. So I was like, okay, I'm only working 8 hours a week. Well, they cut everybody's hours, and then, boom, March comes. It was like March 8th or something. Everybody was told, we are eliminating every single kiosk position with Victra. So if you work for Victra, we're eliminating every single position. So I wasn't fired. Everybody's job was eliminated. I did have an interview with Victra for their corporate store in Menifee, but I was putting a vibe out that I didn't want a sales job, so they didn't hire me, they didn't want me, and I was cool with that. So I had like one interview with Victra at the store in Menifee. It was just a retail store. So I started, this is the thing that I wanted to get at an hour in, but I wanted to give you a little backstory about the energy, because the energy cannot be destroyed. It's just a flow, right? And I will say this, Christians think that we have to die to be with God and be with Jesus, and that's a lie. We are always with Christ. We are always with the one. We are always with source energy. We're always with that. You could call it God, you could call it Christ consciousness, you could call it Jesus, you can call it the divine feminine, you could call it the great big pizza in the sky, you can call it the big eyeball, or the cupcake muffin man, or the divine hug, whatever you want to call it. God, some people call it God, some people call it Christ, some people call it Hare Krishna, some people call it the mother goddess, whatever you call it, the universe, whatever. We are always with it. It is one. We are always with it. And because every single person is like with that entity, we're all connected to each other. We're never alone. We're never alone. I live alone, right? There's nobody here. I live alone. But I have been going in my shell. I am a Sun Cancer. I'm a Leo Moon. I'm an Aquarius Rising. And everything's a choice, right? Everything's a choice. It's so cool. We are always at choice. We always have a choice to make. Do I want to go to this job? Do I want to do this? What do I want to put out there? What vibe do I want? Who do I want to become? Do I want to be this person? Do I want to be negative? Do I want to be positive? What do I want to bring to the world? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Like I said in the beginning, we're always asking people, what do you do? We don't ask people, what do you want to do? We don't ask people, what do you value? We just ask, what do you do? I'm a tow truck driver. I'm a pizza maker. I'm a physical therapist. And then we make value judgments based upon what people do. We don't value people by their values. We judge them by what they do. So if somebody's 65 or 70, what do you do? Oh, I'm retired. Oh, okay. So what do you do with them? What do you do with them? But does that mean they don't count? Because they're not working? I don't know why we ask that in America. What do you do? I'm really thinking I need to move out of the country. I really do, because I don't agree with the values of America. I don't. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. This work hard, I don't believe anymore that you should have to work 40 hours a week just to have 2 days off. Countries like Spain, maybe Italy, they will take siestas during the day. And I heard that they have dinner like late o'clock at night, like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I don't know what time they start work, but I'm going to say it's something like this. They maybe start work at 7 or 8 in the morning. They maybe work till 10 or 11. They might eat a little bit or take a snack or something. They take a nap around 11 or 12 noon, and then they'll like wake up at 2 or 3, and then they'll work. They'll work like 5 to maybe 8 o'clock at night, and then they'll make dinner at 9, and they'll eat at 10. And it's so freedom. It's like not this push hard. You gotta work 40 hours a week. You gotta work 50 hours a week. And I think they work 30 hours a week out there, and it's so much community based. And a lot of people out there don't have cars. There's so much like public transportation out there in Europe, and it's so much community. You rely on other people. People have families. I don't know what it would be like if you don't, like if it's someone like me, because my mom's dead, my dad's dead, my stepdad's dead. There is no brother, there is no sister. I do have friends, but we don't have a community here. And I don't have, I'm gonna make friends in Paris. I'm gonna make them. But I was like attaching to Temecula, California, because my spiritual center is there, and I was like, I gotta move to Temecula. And I was like, why? The culture is the same there as it is in Paris. It's still America. It's not community like I want. It's not a community like I desire. I want a family. I want a soul tribe. Like when I listen to my heartbeat with my stethoscope, and that is a very big, huge inward journey for me. And just like that video I did on my woman parts, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, it was a big, huge thing, with that being taken care of, that divine, feminine, I want to be taken care of. What is it like when a single woman has to put everything on her shoulders to make sure her rent is paid? What would it be like if I came home and my wife was here? Hey, honey, I made dinner for you. Hey, honey, I know you worked hard. Let me give you a massage. Taking care of me. Or what if, I don't know. I mean, just being able to take a load off the shoulders. It's not like, that's cool, right? That's really cool to be able to say, I don't have to carry this burden of working 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to be able to pay my rent. Just to be able to pay my rent. I have no car payment. I paid cash for that car because I had an inheritance, and it was like $34,000. I bought it with 54 miles on it in 2018. It was brand new. So, that was $34,000 out the door. But I still have a car insurance. That's $138 a month. Rent, $950 a month. And if I want to move somewhere in California, it's going to be like $1,500 a month for just to rent a room, or $2,000 a month to rent a 1-bedroom apartment. That is the economy in California. It is very crazy here. It's insane. It's nuts. We're greedy. We have this ego. I'm a truck driver. I'm a this. I'm a that. And I don't believe in it anymore. I don't believe in it anymore. So let me tell you now, this is why I went inside and it was quiet, if you're still with me. Hopefully this will upload, because I guess I can't do lives from my phone. So I'm recording this on my phone, and then I gotta save it to my phone, and then I gotta upload it later. And I gotta label it. I don't even know what I'm gonna label it. So now, about a month ago or 2 months ago, I started microdosing Golden Teacher. It's a mushroom. It's a magic mushroom, and Yeah, where's my, I'm gonna get the, whatchamacallit thing. Um, shoot. I don't even know if this is, like, I got my things, so this may not be, working. I don't know if somebody can hear me or not. Guess we're gonna find out. If this is, gotta put these earbuds. Oof. I don't know if anybody can hear me or not, but I guess I'll find out. Didn't put these earbuds in their thingy. So, okay, that one goes in here. This one goes in there. There we go. Hopefully now everybody can hear me. Okay, so about a month or two ago, I have to look on the calendar when I started. I want to say it was in April, but it could have been in March. I started microdosing Golden Teacher. Let me get the thing. Let me get the thing. The package so you can see. Because some people may want to know what it's like, and I'm just going to give my experience. So, there it is. It's backwards. It's Microdosify. So this is watermelon, non-GMO, cognitive supplement focused enhancer. And it's 150 milligrams. 150 milligrams for each gummy. So it's microdosing shrooms. So what I noticed when I started this journey, whenever it was, I noticed I never took this before. So I remember, I want to say the first day I took a full one, and I was like, whoa, focus, whoa. There was no brain fog. It was just a lot of focus. And then like 3 days later, I said, let's do half. And it was better. I felt like not high, just a lot of focus. And so I was doing it like every 3 days. And then I was like, this is too good to be true. I can't do this, right? And so I backed off. And I was like, I'm not going to do this ever. It was like, I can't remember the technique. It was like day 1, 2, 3 off, day 4. So 1 day on, 2 days off, 1 day on, 2 days off, 1 day on, 2 days off, right? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. This is too good to be true. It was just too much focus, hyper focus. I always wanted to clean. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to clean. I'm like organize, clean, get rid of stuff, delete. What's that called? When you delete stuff, purge. And I'm purging old beliefs. So the more I get rid of my shit, I have old beliefs going with it too. And one of those old beliefs is I have to push hard for sales and push hard and prove myself to employers that I'm worth the job and prove it. And I'm healing this root chakra. This root chakra way down there, that I am worth a job that I love, that I'm worth love, that I'm worth joy, that I'm worth a lover that loves me, that I'm worth a job that gives me joy, not just money. I'm done just working for the money. I'm not doing that anymore. Just working as a cashier just because it's a job. No, I want joy bucks. I'm worth a job that I love. I'm worth so much more than I give myself credit for. So all these false beliefs are purging from my heart, but I'm also purging here, and I purge a lot. I don't have to do microdosing to purge, but usually if I take 150 milligrams, I will get in the clean or purge mode. So I backed off for a little bit, for about 2 or 3 weeks. I said, you know what, I'm only going to do it once a week. It's too good to be true. It's too much focus, way too much focus. And then I was told it changes like your neurocognitive stuff like that. You should take it every 2 or 3 days. You should. And then I had a thought, what if I upped the dose? So this is what happened. Let's say today's Friday. May 24th. So it was Wednesday. I said, you know what? You're going to up the dose. I don't have anybody here to trip sit me, living alone. Don't know anyone that could do it. I'm like, I'm not going to take a gram. Are you kidding me? I've never done that before. So I was like, why don't you just take like 300 or 350, because I've taken 150 and that focus is pretty good. This is they have different kinds on the microdosify. This is strength. This is what is it? I don't know what it is. Oh, focus enhancer. So, and this is 150 milligrams. Some of them are 200 milligrams. Some of them are 300 milligrams each. Just depends on what kind you buy. But that is microdosing. And there was 20 gummies in it. I think I have 4 left or 3 left or something like that. So the other day, I took like 350, 400 milligrams the other day. Yeah, like 400 milligrams, 300 milligrams. And I was in this space of love. I was in this space of, like, I felt mom's love. And I felt like the universe loved me and I didn't have to push hard. I didn't have to prove myself. I was in this receive mode. I wasn't in this push against the energy to prove myself to employers that I need to get hired. I need to get hired. I need to make money. It was all this divine feminine just love. And I took like 300 milligrams or maybe 400 milligrams. I cried. I laid in bed. I took, it was like a step. It was like a step approach. So it was like 9 a.m. or maybe it was 8:45 a.m. I took 150 milligrams, checked the mail, and then went to the park. I always ask my guides, what's next, what's next, what's next. And then I went to a different park. I laid down in the grass. They said, go outside, say this prayer. I said the prayer. I went out and laid in the grass. It was like 10. And it takes like sometimes 30 minutes or an hour for this microdose to kick in, but I only took 150 milligrams. So, there was no, we call it like hallucinations. There was nothing like that. It's just a focus, ultra focus. So, I laid in the grass. I got grounded. I felt this energy pulling me into the earth. It felt wonderful. And I just laid down in the grass for like 30 minutes and laid down on my back and I flipped over on my belly. It was wonderful. It was like 10:30, 10:40. Got in the car and I was like, wasn't I supposed to have an interview or something? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I looked at my phone. I was like, oh, they didn't call me. Let me call them. I had the interview and they said it was 16 hours a week. And I said, oh, that's great. I didn't know it was like this. I thought it was 30 or 40 hours a week. I said, this is great. I'm going to pass because I'm not sending out that vibe that I need a job and I'll take anything. I'm not sending out that vibe anymore. I was like, this is more for somebody that's like retired or has a husband and the wife is just bored and they want to work 16 hours a week and they don't need a lot of money and they're supported. And I said, yeah, no, I'm getting $450 a week on unemployment and that's the max you can get. If you make $1 million a year and you lose your job, you can only get $450 a week max. So I'm getting $900 max, so 2 weeks, $1,800 a month. That is the max you can get on unemployment. So I'm asking employers, pay me under the table. If you want me to work part time, pay me under the table $400 or $500 a week, and just have that, until the unemployment runs out, and then So I'm not putting a vibe out that I'm desperate. It's just the energy's changed. So that energy came in Wednesday. I felt this like love. And I was crying. And I spent a little time in nature. Like I said, I went to the park. I got grounded. And had that interview, told them no, went home, got in bed because when I got home at 11 a.m., I took another gummy. It was 150 milligrams. So now I had one at 9 a.m. or something like that, and then I had another one at 11 a.m., so 300. 30 minutes later, I think I took a half, so half of 150 is like 75. So I had like 225 milligrams or something like that, and I felt like this love. And I'm I'm going to say I'm sensitive. I'm going to say I'm pretty sensitive to this stuff. So I didn't feel brain fog. I listened to other people saying they felt brain fog. I did not feel brain fog. There was none of that. I felt love. It was only 225 or 250 milligrams that I took. And I felt this love energy. I did lay down around noonish. And then I woke up because I had an appointment at 3. So I got out of bed at like 3:15 on Wednesday. And I said, I got to repeat this. I don't know when, but I need to get in that divine flow, and that I want to feel that love. Because when you don't feel loved, when you don't feel like you matter, you will put the energy out there into the universe that you are going to, that you should take any job. And it never works out, guys. It never ever works out. When you put a vibe out that you are willing to do anything, it does not work out. I've done this game for too long. It just doesn't work out. And so that was Wednesday. Like I said, I only took 250 milligrams or 225 because each gummy was like, oh, maybe I took a half. It was 150 and then a half, 75, and then another half, 75. I remember adding it up, and it was like 250 or 225. And I was like, I got to do this again, man. If I felt love, I got to do this again. Because I don't like the THC high. I don't like it. It's just different. I don't like it. So I put an intention on Wednesday. I was like, I am going to find out how to cut these energy cords to these people. I want to find my purpose. I want to find my love, and I'm going to do this. And I felt loved. I felt a little bit of mom's energy. I was crying, and it was like maybe an hour or two. I felt loved. But I started at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, and I took the last gummy at like 11:30 in the morning. And then today was a little bit more. I didn't take a gram. I didn't want to take a gram. There's no one here. I didn't know what it would do. Again, they're not dry shrooms. It's just gummies. So, same thing. I started early, 7:50 in the morning. Took one gummy. Took about an hour to kick in. By like 9:30, I took 2 more gummies. So that was 300 milligrams. So like by 11, what was that? 450. So by like 2 o'clock or by 1 o'clock, I had, if my calculations are correct, I had about 750 milligrams of Golden Teacher over the period from 7:50 in the morning. I think the last gummy, because I was cutting them in half, 75, I was cutting them in half. And I was like, okay, all right, this is cool. Because they're not dry shrooms or anything like that. It's just little tiny gummies, very tiny. It was either 675 or 700, I think it was 750 milligrams. It takes 1,000 milligrams to equal 1 gram. I don't have a scale, nothing like that. And what I felt was, right around like 11:30 a.m., I felt the call to lay down because I already put my intention outside. I already went outside. I already prayed. I already did my intention. I set my intention outside. It was like a 30-minute process. I lit candles. I have a crystal grid. So I took my time with that this morning, like around 9 or 10 in the morning. I sang. I made a song for my intention. My intention lasted probably an hour and a half. So I was very deliberate, very careful, very, I guess you could say deliberate in my intention of wanting to know my purpose and my next step and where do I go, and just healing these wounds that I have. Because I don't want to push hard for sales. I don't want to push hard for anything. I don't want to resist. I don't want that's masculine. I don't want this heavy burden on me that I have to push hard and I need to make $7,000 a month Why? Well, if I make $7,000 or $8,000 a month, guess what I'll be able to do? I'll be able to afford rent. Well, what is rent in California? $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month. So if your rent's $2,500, or let's say $2,000 a month, you got to make 2.5 times that. Well, 2.5 times $2,000. So we got $2,000, $2,000. So that's four. Now you got to do half. So you add another 1,000. So you got to make $5,000 a month gross to be able to afford a $2,000 a month rent. So I think that's cutting it a little bit too tight. So I'm gonna say you got to make $6,000 to $7,000 a month gross to be able to afford $2,000 a month in rent, and it's wrong. Sorry, corporate America and everybody that these banks own these homes, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. They're screwing Americans. I don't agree with the values. I just don't. So I after like 11:30 a.m. I went in bed. I spent time in nature. It was wonderful today. It was wonderful, and laid in bed and closed my eyes, and I felt my mom's energy. I didn't see her and did not hear her voice. Usually when my mom comes to me in dreams, she does not talk. My mom did not talk the last week or two of her life. She had Alzheimer's, and her speaking capability eroded, and I had a power of attorney. They gave my mom Haldol, which I did not agree. I said, why did you do that to her? I have a power of attorney. You're supposed to call me before everything, and you didn't. And they were like, she was combative. I'm like, well, yeah, of course she is, because she has undiagnosed dementia and Alzheimer's, and you're taking her from her home, and you don't know why. She doesn't know why. She doesn't know who you are. And, I was at work, there was nobody there watching my mom. I didn't really get the support I needed. I was under investigation for my HSS. They thought I was neglecting my mom, but she wasn't properly diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease until 12 days before her death. And they dropped the case against me because they found out that everything that I was telling them was valid. They literally thought I wasn't feeding her. I was. She just didn't know how to masticate her food. She didn't know how to chew it. And of course she didn't know how to swallow. She didn't know how to chew her food, and it was, I was there when she died. It was quite beautiful. When she died, it was so beautiful. But, yeah, I lost my train of thought for just a second. Okay, so my mom wasn't talking the last week or two. Yeah, I think the last time my mom talked was probably around January 26th or January 27th, because 2018, because she got on hospice the 25th or the 26th. Once I signed that, they gave her the proper meds so she can sleep, and she was just like sleeping all day, and I was just there like every other day with her, holding her hand. And the doctors were like, I'm so sorry, Sandra, that you didn't get the support. I'm so sorry this IHSS supervisor was acting like a bitch to you, because she was like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I'm her daughter. What are you doing here? Are you her daughter? I said, are you my mom's sister or her friend? I said, where were you when I needed the help? Because my mom didn't get the diagnosis of Alzheimer's. I said, the doctor just called me and we talked, and he gave me the information that I needed. I said, did the doctor call you? That's what I said to the IHSS lady. I said, did the doctor call you and tell you that your mom had undiagnosed Alzheimer's disease? I said, because the doctor and I just spoke, and he told me your mom is dying of the disease. And I said, name it. I said, I know what it is, but you need to name it. And he goes, oh my God, she's never been diagnosed. I said, no, you need to name it. I said, I know what it is, but you need to name it. He goes, your mom is dying of Alzheimer's disease. And I go, thank you. He goes, you mean to tell me nobody has ever diagnosed your mom? I said, no. She's been diagnosed with depression And every single doctor was like, oh, it's just depression. Oh, it's just depression. Oh, it's just depression. Oh, it's just depression. Oh, it's just a bad case of anxiety. He was like, oh my God, how can these doctors ignore it and not give you a clear diagnosis? I said, because they're ER doctors and they don't want to deal with it. ER doctors don't want to deal with this stuff. He's like, I'm so sorry they did not do your mom justice. And he goes, this is very end stage. I said, how long? He goes, I'm sorry, Sandra, days to weeks. And I was out of it. I was a mess. I said, days to weeks. He goes, yeah, she doesn't have months. She died like 9 days later. 9 or 10 days later. That was January 25th, 2018. She died 2/3/2018. And that lady in the nursing home that she was visiting my mom in the nursing home was not my mom's daughter. She wasn't my mom's sister. She was not my mom's friend. She was Miranda. I think her last name was Miranda. She was an IHSS supervisor. And she had the audacity to ask me, what am I doing here? And the nurse was there. And I said, I'm her daughter. I have power of attorney. I have documents. I said, I just got off the phone with the doctor. And he just diagnosed her with dementia, Alzheimer's. I said, if you could excuse me, I need to say goodbye to my mom now and tell her I love her. This is mom and daughter time. You're not welcome here. You need to leave. And the nurse looked at me and said, I'm so sorry, Sandra, that she was so rude. And I'm like, she thought I was neglecting my mom. And she didn't know. Because when you don't have the diagnosis of dementia, Alzheimer's, you don't get the hours. You know, my mom only got approved for 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week on IHSS. So I had a lot of anger to work through. Guys. And it took me 8 months to find a job. So my mom wasn't talking. So when I have dreams of my mom, she doesn't talk to me. She's mute. She wasn't deaf. My mom was a joy to be around. My mom wanted to be a ballerina when she grew up, when she was a little girl. A ballerina. And she never became one, and she wanted to be. I think my mom's in heaven being a ballerina because I haven't heard her voice in a long time. It's been 6 years. My dad, I could hear his voice. I hear him loud and clear. We were not close. But I did go out and see him. Drove across country to Abilene twice. June 2020 and November, I think it was November 5th or 6th or 7th, 2021. And I spent like 10 days out there. I spent 5 days out there in 2020, and I've spent 7 or 8 or 9 days out there in 2021. And dipped into that inheritance to do it, you know. I was like, I'm going to do this. I got to see my dad before he dies. I knew his health was going down, but it wasn't dementia. It was just heart trouble. And, you know, I had a lot of stuff to work through. And when I took that 750 milligrams, I felt my mom's energy. I felt her love. I laid down. I cried. And it was beautiful. I've heard other people say, oh, brain fog. Not for me, baby. Not for me, baby. Not for me at all. Not at all. It was a divine appointment with my mom. I went in after nature. I closed my eyes. I was under my blankets. I have my little Ruffy. Where's my Ruffy? Where is he? Huh. He's here somewhere. Let me show him to you. My stuffed animal. I kept him. Huh. Ruffy, where are you? I laid down in my bed and I just went inside. And it was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. So here he is. My Ruffy. He's a little raccoon. And I've had him since I was about 5 or 6. And I've gotten rid of all the other stuffed animals. I got rid of all the other ones. I was probably like 22, 25, 26. I was like, I'm getting rid of, maybe I was 18. I don't know. But I kept my Ruffy. And I went into the Divine Feminine. I laid down. And for about an hour or two, I felt loved today. I felt loved. I closed my eyes. I had a vision There was no hallucinating. Like, well, I take that back. Let me backtrack. Let me go back to the vision when I saw my mom or my dad or whoever it was. Closing my eyes, I saw myself as a baby, and they were doing this to me. They were going like this. So I was doing it from first person, baby Sandra, basically. I felt the presence of somebody holding me, and I was being going around like this. So, um, I didn't see my mom and dad twirling me around. I just saw hands holding me. And I was like, oh, I'm a baby. I feel so much love. I didn't get there until I took 750 milligrams of Golden Teacher. So the next time I take it, I'll take 1 gram. Now that I know what the experience is, I'm going to take 1 gram. I think that is the max that I'm going to do. I just got to save my money and take 1 gram. This microdosify website has different strengths. I think the biggest strength you can do is 300 milligrams in one gummy. There may be other places I can go to. But there was no brain fog for me. Now, let me go back to the other thing. I decided to look in my eyes because I want to get in this divine flow of love. I'm done with the push harder for sales. I'm done with the manipulation. I'm done with the Mr. Employer. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm this. I'm this. I can do this, this, and this, and prove myself. Prove myself. One job opening. 1,000 people apply. It's not what you know in this country. It's who you know. It literally is who you know. It's not what you know. Mr. Hiring Manager has a employee, Joe Smo. Joe Smo knows Bob. And Joe Smo says, hey, Bob, my employer, my hiring manager, my manager has this job. You're a welder, and you've done this. Let me tell my boss about you. Blah, 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 blah. Why don't you give me your resume? I'll show it to my boss. Boom. There's your connection. Joe Smo gives Bob's resume to his boss. Oh, wow, Bob. Okay, Bob, your friend Bob has a lot of experience. Blah, 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 blah. HR doesn't even know, baby. HR doesn't even know about Bob. HR doesn't know about Joe Smo giving his boss Bob's resume. So Bob's like working the lines of who he knows, and Joe Smo is helping his friend here, and HR's like clueless. HR's probably doesn't even know about the job opening yet. HR doesn't know about job openings. The hiring manager might. So HR waits. They get the information later. And I wanted to work in human resources, guys. Human resources does not help people. They are not there for the employee. They will tell you that, but they are in the best interest of the corporation. They are. They protect corporations. Banks protect corporations. Banks do not protect the people. So I'm done with this culture. I'm totally done with it. I'm done. So I said, look in the mirror and do some mirror work and tell yourself you love yourself and look in your soul. Look in your eyes. Look in your soul. So I did. I went in my mirror. I have a huge mirror there. What do you call it? Closet doors are mirrors. Closet doors are mirrors. So I look in my eyes and I tell myself I love you. And I'm just spending time, good 30 minutes to an hour, just standing there. And then all of a sudden, I started looking here. You can look it up, the pineal gland. Way deep in the middle of the head, way deep in there, the pineal gland. The right side of the brain, you can go on YouTube and look up Bill Donahue. Okay, if you're a Christian, you're not going to like it. You're going to think tarot is evil. You're going to think tarot is of the devil. If you're a Christian, you're a born-again Christian, you're going to think yoga is of the devil. Like Doreen Virtue denounced Reiki. She denounced everything about tarot. She denounced oracle cards. She denounced yoga. Yoga is just flexibility poses to help you get flexible. I guess she's against the, I don't know what, the energy behind yoga? I don't know what. I don't know what she's against, but she denounced everything. She found Christ, right? So, and I was a Christian. I was a born again Christian, guys. So, yeah, I read the Bible metaphysically. Well, I want to, but I can't read right now. It's too left brain, right? I'm in the right brain. So listen to Bill Donahue if you want to learn how to dive into the Bible metaphysically. The Bible is about our body, and the Bible is also about mythology and astrology, so within, so without. So it is a allegory. The Bible is an allegory. You can't take it literally. People do. I used to. So, the 12 tribes of Israel have to do with the astrology. We got 12 houses. We got 12 signs. We got 12 months. So, Cancer is the tribe of Issachar, because I'm a sun Cancer. I don't know what Leo is. I'm a Leo moon. I haven't looked up Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius rising. Everything is choice. We're always at choice. Just because I have Virgo, just because I have Vegas, that's cute. Just because I have Venus and Virgo at 0 degrees does not mean I have to continue on this journey of I don't know how to flirt. I used to know how to flirt when I was 16. So I can learn how to flirt. Because Venus and Virgo's in her detriment. And Venus, if Venus was in Pisces, that's exalted. Venus doesn't like being in Virgo. That's where you put all your love into your job. And you put all your love into service. And there's a way I can do it. But there's balance, everything is balance. Everything is just balance. It's this push hard, got to give everything I got to work. No. No, I don't want to do it. So, after looking in the mirror, like I was looking at these, I said, look up here. And I did. I said, let's do it. Let's do it. And about 15, 20 seconds in, now guys, I was looking here. So, peripheral vision. So I was looking here and I saw the universe in this eye. I kept my focus here in the mirror, but I saw with my peripheral vision, I saw the universe in this eye. And I was like, whoa, what is that? And of course I went like that. I went, whoa. And the second I looked in my eye, it was gone. So I started playing around with it. And I was like, okay, I have astigmatism. And one eye it's called a lazy eye. Yeah, so this eye is stronger, this eye is weaker. I think I'm like 20/50, 20/80 without corrective lenses, but I have astigmatism in both. And I think I'm farsighted. I think I can see mountains better because, I need reading glasses, but I need driving glasses too because I need to be way close to that sign to see it. Like if I'm driving without my glasses, ooh, not good because I have to be way close to see the sign. So, and mountains are pristine. I can see that stuff great. But because of the astigmatism, everything's blurry. Everything's blurry. So I was playing with my eye. I was like, okay, look at this with this eye. And then look at this with that eye. And I saw things on I saw things here with 750 milligrams. Nothing big. It wasn't like ghosts. It wasn't scary. It wasn't big. It wasn't nothing scary or anything. It was nothing wow. There was no voices or anything like that. I did see a little bit of light. It was in the crease of my eye here in the corner, a little light When I looked at my eye, just the right, it was like a little bit of light coming through, um, right there on the bottom. And I was looking right in my eye, and I was like in the mirror, and I was like, whoa, what is that light? It was almost like eyeliner in a way, but it was light. It was a bright, glowy light right on the bottom there of my eyeball. And it lasted for about an hour, hour and a half. And again, I asked my guides, okay, am I done here? Or do I need to continue with this mirror? And I just continued with the mirror for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I went out of the room, got water, came back, said, hi, love you. Spent time here and spent, and that's when I saw the universe. When I was watching this up here, I could see the universe. It was like the earth and stars. It was pretty amazing. I saw like stars, and I saw the earth, and almost like the Milky Way in there, just this eye. And I just stayed there. And the minute I looked in my eye, it all went away. And I actually took pictures with my phone. It's crazy, man. I was like, I'm going to take pictures on my phone of my face while I'm looking here to see what my eyes look like on the camera. So here I am looking up here in the mirror, and I'm taking pictures of my face. And I'm like, okay, take 6, 7, 8 pictures. I'm like, okay, and then I look at the camera, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like regular eyeballs to me. And I was like, huh. Yeah, I was like this. Like, can you imagine a still? Like that. That's literally what I looked like. But look, I looked here. I was like, whoa. What is that? I could see the universe, or the stars, or the Milky Way, or the earth. It was stars and it was beautiful. It was so beautiful in that light. So the next time, 1 gram, because I have no interest in trying to prove to an employer that I'm worth a job. And making $25 an hour is great. That's fine, as long as I love the job. I do not want to work just for the money. I don't want to have to prove to an employer, oh, push hard for sales, or push hard for the job, or overabundance of pushing for the job. No. I have applied to 80 jobs in a week. Don't want to do it anymore, guys. It's not worth it. Just working just for the money? Are you kidding me? What a drag. Don't want it. Don't. My dad, I discovered something. My dad must have had a lot of anger. I had to work through all the anger and everything like that because of the IHSS, and they were like, oh, you're neglecting your mom, you're not feeding her, you're doing this, you're doing that, and doctors don't you have a neighbor? And I'm like, yeah, they're Spanish speaking, and my mom doesn't know them, and I don't know them, and they were like, don't you have friends? And I'm like, to watch my mom? No, I don't. And they were like, don't you have neighbors? And I'm like, yeah, but they speak Spanish, and why would I invite strangers over to my mom's house? And I said, I'm not going to do that. My mom has undiagnosed dementia. She has undiagnosed Alzheimer's disease. She would be scared of strangers in her house. And even if my mom didn't have dementia, even if my mom didn't, you do not invite strangers over to your house to watch your mom if she's sick. Let's say she has cancer. You do not invite strangers over to your house to watch your mother when you're at work. You don't do it. Why didn't you hire someone? I didn't have the money. I didn't have the income. I didn't have it. I wasn't making $4 or $5 or $6 a month. I was making $1,000 a month working my real job with the homeless. People thought I was a caretaker by trade, and I wasn't. I only took care of my mom because she was my mom. And people were like, quit your real job and stay home and take care of your mom. I said, I can't. I got bills. I pay my mom's bills. I was helping my mom pay her credit card. I was helping my mom pay the phone bill. I was helping my mom pay her bills. So and nobody understood. Nobody understood. Then everything started like, oh, sorry, Sandra, we didn't know. We thought you had friends. We didn't know. We thought you had brothers and sisters. We didn't know. We didn't know. I was like, yeah, you don't bring strangers over. And my mom doesn't know Spanish. I don't know Spanish. I mean, I'm probably, ¿cómo se llama? Me llamo Sandra. Siéntese. Muévete. Bienvenidos. Adiós. Me llamo Sandra. ¿Cómo se llama? Basura en la caja. I remember that when I was 18 or something, 19. Basura en la caja. We're going to Starcrest products. Trash in the box. Basura en la caja. It's like, okay. But can I hold a conversation in Spanish with someone? No. No. I love the language, but no. It was insane. It was insane, guys. I miss my mom. I miss that mom energy, and I tapped into it a little bit on Wednesday, and I tapped into it more today. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, guys. And my dad had a lot of anger, so much anger. His sister was raped by his dad, so they all had the same dad. My aunts and my dad all had the same dad, and my aunt was raped by her father, and my dad was very angry, and my dad must have had this belief after my mom divorced my dad when I was 5. My dad got very lonely, he got very angry, and he put this vibe out that nobody loves me, nobody comes to visit me, and everybody hates me, and nobody comes to visit me, and basically F off. I remember my dad's voicemail for many years. This is Bill Gregston. This is Bill Gregston. Stop calling me if you're a bill collector. Go to hell. Leave a message. Bye. This very angry man, but you had to get to know him and wiggle in to get to that very sensitive little boy that just wanted love. He just wanted love, and he pushed so many people away because he was so angry, and he wanted someone to love him, and he never found a wife. He did marry a woman named Sandra when I was 13, and I forgot about her, and he told me, I don't know, before he died sometime, don't you remember I married a woman named Sandra? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you were there at the wedding. And I'm like, I was? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, how old was I? And he goes, you were 13. And I'm like, Dad, 13? That's when my hip dislocation happened. 1988. This hip dislocation happened. I blocked all that trauma out. I don't remember a lot of 1988. I blocked all that trauma out because it was horrible. Can you imagine your kid, 13, walking along, going to the ice cream truck? They have $10 or $5 on them. They're walking to the ice cream truck. Kids are around, other kids were around. It was 1988. I fallen and I can't get up. Life alert. Old lady on the TV. Commercials. I fallen and I can't get up. Ha ha ha. That's what I said. I literally slipped on wet grass. Boom. Fall down. Kids fall down and get back up all the time. I was like, wow, what happened? Fall down. I got back up, put weight on that right foot. Boom. Down again. I was like, oh my God. My best friend was there. She's deceased now. Love you, Michelle. But at the time, Michelle was there. I was 13. She was 12. Thank God Michelle was there. Thank God. Angel on my shoulder. Third time, got back up, did the crane, Karate Kid. They said, what are you doing? I said, I can't put weight on my right leg. Something happened to my leg. I broke my leg or something. Did the crane, and just a little bit of weight on that right leg. Boom. Down I went. I was crying, 13 years old. I said, Michelle, go get my stepdad. Go get Peter. I can't walk. I've fallen and I can't get up. Ha, 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 ha. I blocked out all that trauma. Everything from 88, I blocked out. I do not remember my dad getting married to a woman named Sandra, which she became Sandra Gregston. And I guess it was an annulment, because I guess my dad was only married to her for 6 months or a year. I don't remember being there. I don't. blocked out all that trauma when I was 13. I was on crutches for 12 weeks. It was hell. It was hell on earth. And I had pins in. I had two, like, 9-inch nails. You know, I call them 9-inch nails. Very good band, by the way. So my dad just had a lot of anger. And guess what? Guess what I found out the other day? I was like, oh my God. I learned the sarcasm from my mom. But her sarcasm wasn't really demeaning. I learned the demeaning, mean, cruel, demeaning sarcasm, putting people down through my dad. So it's like, I don't know, BioLife. I wanted to go donate plasma, and I couldn't prove that I lived here and have a month-to-month lease. And I have a P.O. box on my driver's license. It doesn't say where I live because I don't want employers. Well, I don't have, at the time, I didn't have a box where I lived because there's homeless people here. A lot of homeless people here, and I don't want the homeless people getting my mail. So I told the landlord, just don't do it. I got a P.O. box. He's like, okay, P.O. box. So I changed my driver's license to say P.O. box. Whatever. And before I did that, people were sending mail to my address here because they didn't ask me, is this your mailing address? They weren't asking me that. So I had to go to the DMV to change it to that P.O. box. So I did, and that creates a problem. I brought in my tags, or not tags, car title that had the physical address. They said this car title expires in 2019. I said, of course it does. Every time you buy a new car, your car title expires a year later. Of course it does. That's why we get registration. That's why we pay car tags. You extend that title by paying your car tags and getting a smog, unless you don't need a smog because your car's new. So I said to them, of course, but I said it demeaning, like, of course. We all know that we pay car tags, right? So it was a very demeaning. So I was like, because I wanted to donate plasma, and in order to donate, you have to donate like every 2 weeks, like every week, but you donate twice a week for a month. And if you do that, you get $800. So Spirit was telling me, this is not for you. I came back. They made a snide remark like, are you sure you don't live on an Indian reservation? And I went, why? And they go, Navajo Road. And I'm like, Navajo Road? I was like, this is what I said. I said, you do know, but American Indians were here before the white man. I said, just because you live on Navajo Road doesn't mean you live on an Indian reservation. I said, Paris does not have any, Indian reservations. I said, what do you think? And they said, well, we just got to make sure because American Indians, if they live on the reservation, they can't donate plasma. I'm like, okay, do I look like an American Indian? Do I really look like one? Come on, man, I'm a white girl. I'm not American Indian. I don't have that skin tone. They're pretty dark. And I said, Paris doesn't have any Indian reservation. I said, there's Sioux Road, just down the road from me. There's Cherokee Road. I said, I live in an area that is all American Indian tribes. They're all tribes. I said, I was very facetious. I was very mad. I was pissed. She had no right to say, you sure you don't live on an Indian reservation? It was a rude remark from a person that worked there at BioLife in Temecula. And I said, okay, so I used to live on Feliz Street, Feliz. Feliz is that word happy in Spanish. Feliz Street. There was another street called Hacienda. There was another street called La Bonita. All those streets were Spanish. So I said to them, so if you live on a street called Feliz Street, does that mean you live in a Spanish compound? If you live on La Bonita Street, does that mean you live in a Spanish compound or a Spanish complex or a Spanish club? Or what does that mean if you live on La Bonita and all the streets are Spanish in your area? What does that mean? Does that mean you're Hispanic all of a sudden? And I was like, I said that to them. What kind of bullshit question is that? So I think they were just saying that just to be facetious, just to fuck with me. And the lady said if you can mail yourself a letter and you bring it in, you can donate plasma. I went back 3 times. And they said, well, we'll mail you something. We'll mail you this postcard. I said, okay. They never mailed it. Because Spirit was saying don't donate plasma. If you donate plasma 2 times a week, because it's like $100 each time you donate. And these people were coming in like, I didn't get paid, I didn't get paid, I didn't get paid, la 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 la. They're desperate. These people are freaking desperate. How desperate do you have to be to get $800 a month? Because if you donate twice a week, plasma, not whole blood, plasma, you donate twice a week for a month. It's like $100 each time you donate. How long do you have to wait to get it? I don't know. A week or 2? I don't know. But I listened to other people, and people were coming in. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. I donated here a week ago. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. Whoa. Where's that plasma going? Don't know. So Spirit was telling me after 3 times, Sandra, you're worth more than this, girl. Don't do it. You're worth more. You can find the money to pay your car tags, because my car tags are always due in July and I always have to pay them in June, and it's $290. And I was like, how am I going to get $290 to do this? And where am I going to get the $111 to pay my P.O. box? That's due the 15th of June. And I was like, I don't know. Donate plasma. Friend told me, donate plasma. Spirit said, no. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be that desperate. You'll find another way. And the world wants you to be in this push hard for sales. The world, especially America, Western states, they want you, the government, they want you, the corporate Americas, the vibration of America wants people to push hard for sales. Or push hard to get what you want. Push hard to get the job. Push hard to get your education. I'm done playing the game, guys. I want love. I want love. I want peace. I want harmony. I want love. This push hard for sales? No. I just realized recently, like 2 days ago, I don't want this attitude of my dad of nobody loves me, nobody's coming over to see me, I have no friends. It was a very sad thing that I saw in my dad. And I did not realize that I was turning into my father. I idolized him when I was 4. I remember watching him shave. And I remember I was 4 and I saw him put the shaving cream up. And it wasn't in a can. It was a little thing. And you lather it up. Little thing. I don't know what it's called. But, it's 1979. I was 4. And I was just... my dad wanted to be like him so much. And I was like, okay, turn the water on, get that thing. And I was like, didn't know where the razor blades were. Never found them. Never found them. Dad came in and said, what are you doing, Sandra? And I just looked at him like, he was like, come on, Sandra. He put me up on the counter. He got a cloth or a towel, and he's like, you're a little girl, you don't shave. He's like, even if you were a little boy, you're too young. You're only 4. You're a little girl, but you're too young. Even if I was a little boy, I was still too young. So he was like, come on. I carried his plaid shirt in my hand, rubbing it like this. I wanted to be around my dad. I wanted to be like my dad. There was some kind of connection with me and him when I was 4. And maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 1. I don't remember that far back. There was something there. And then he turned into this cold-hearted, mean, once my mom divorced him, and he went back to Texas to be with his mom in 1992, a year before I graduated high school in 93. And he came out to see me graduate, like a good dad. He came out to see me in 93, and, went back to Texas, take care of his mom. He became this shell of a man. Stop calling me bill collectors. This is Bill Gregston. I don't know, what was his message? Something like, this is Bill Gregston. Leave a message. And if you don't have a message, then call back later. Whoa, okay. Okay. He had that on his voicemail for like 6, 8 years. Grace came in, lady named Grace, caretaker, and saw through that anger. And it took a lady named Grace to soften up my dad just a little bit. And his voicemail changed 2 years, maybe a year before he died. So 2021, good caretaker, did a lot for him. So much more than she needed to. She did so much more. He changed his voicemail. This is Mr. Bill Gregston. I'm not available right now. Please leave a message at the tone, and I'll get back to you when I can. It was a landline. He didn't have a cell phone. I tried to help him. With the Netflix. Try to help him get a smart TV. I said, Dad, you don't have to pay $150 a month for your cable. I can hook you up. I can get you a smart TV, a 32-inch. Hook it up. You need internet. You'll need to pay $20 a month, $30 a month for your internet. And pay $10 a month for Netflix. And like $40 or $50 a month for your HBO or for your Cinemax. And I said, it's called streaming services, Dad. And it's like $40, $50 a month. So you got $20 a month for your internet, or $30 for internet, $50 a month for your Showtime or Cinemax or whatever, because you want to watch the movies, and Netflix, $10, $12 a month. So here we are, what, $60, $70, $80, like $80, $90 a month instead of $150. And he was always behind. He's always behind. He was always a month late. So he never paid that thing off because he was always a month late. $150. He was like, Dad, your bill's $320. I pay $150 every month. You're always a month late, Dad. You're always a month late. You missed a payment somewhere. He didn't want to pay double to get up to date. He didn't want the help. I tried to help him. He didn't want the help. He didn't want the help at all. I was like, okay, Dad. I'm not going to push. I went out there to say goodbye to my dad in 2021. I tried to help him in 2020. Didn't work. I just went out there to spend time with my dad in 2021. For like a week. It was like November 7th to like November 20th. Or something like that. Or the 19th or something like that. I left before Thanksgiving. I had to, because Diane Donahue was dying. She was dying, and I didn't know when she was going to die. So I had to get back before she died, which she did. February 27th, 2022. She graduated. She got her wings. So I was like, well, you're not going to wait around to see your dad when Diane's going through her own process of birthing herself to the next life. And I'm done, guys. I'm not buying into this culture. I'm not buying into it that we have to work 40 hours a week just to get 2 days off. Everybody goes on holiday in the UK. I don't know if they go on holiday in Europe, like Italy and Spain, but in the UK, everybody goes on holiday. Everybody, it's like a right. Not everybody goes on vacation. Not every employer has vacation in America. Some employers give it to you, some don't. You're lucky if you get paid time off. You're lucky if you get sick time. And they only give you like 24 hours a year of sick time. 24 hours of sick time a year? 3 days a year you can be sick? Oh my God. Not every company does that in America. We are workaholics here. We do not value family. We do not value friends. People go to work and think, yeah, I'll go to work. and I make all this money for my family, but you're never home with your family. You're never home. You're always working. All the time. All the time you're always working. And you think, oh yeah, I'm going to provide for my family, but you're never fucking home, man. You're never home. Why? Because the system is fucked up. And I'm not buying it anymore, guys. I'm not. I'm done. I'm done. I know I shared a lot, and I didn't know it was going to be 2 hours. But I was going to go into the shroom thing in the beginning, and I said, no, build up to it. Because I don't want to be that woman. Push hard for sales. Push hard for anything. Force a friendship. No. Force love on someone. No. Force anything. No. Force, put all your might into door knocking because you have to door knock for your sales. Force anything. Just work harder. Just work harder. No pain, no gain, man. It's not divine feminine. And I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all, guys. Be well. Love yourself. Find the divine feminine. Life isn't that hard. But the system wants you to think it is. We always connect to the source. And because we're always connected to the source, and I'm not talking about saved people. I'm not talking about, oh, you're not saved, you're going to hell. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Wipe that shit out of your mind. Everybody is connected to source. Everybody has divine Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna, Jesus Christ, the divine feminine, whatever you want to call it, the divine cupcake, whatever you want to call it, the chocolate popsicle, whatever you want to call it, I don't fucking care. Everybody has that spark. And we are told we are separate, and we're told we have to wait until we get to heaven to be with Jesus, and that's when everything starts. Bullshit! Read the Gnostic Gospels. Even Christ himself said the kingdom of heaven is within you. But the system in America wants you dependent on this fucking system. Push hard for sales. Push hard for anything. Push. Resist. Continue to do that. And you will end up like Sandra, being mad, like my dad, where she started pushing, forcing friendships, forcing everything, thinking that life is all about me, thinking everything's about Sandra when it's not. And now I'm asking, what do I want to bring to life? What do I want? What are my talents? What are my values? What do I love? What I love to do, I love music. I want to create it. I want to create joy. I would love to be able to DJ. Where am I going to get the $500 extra for a new computer, for a new laptop? Someone's going to teach me. I know it. If I allow it, someone's going to teach me. It's going to show up. It may not show up in the way I design or I think or the way I think in my mind. Believe me, I do a lot of imagining. I see myself. I see myself doing it, man. I see it. But it may not happen the way I think. It may appear some other way. Maybe something else going on. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get a new computer. How am I going to do that? I have no idea. There may be something else out there saying, here, I know what's seeking me. I know what I'm seeking is seeking me. I don't have to push. I don't have to go out and beg. I don't have to push. You know, I panhandled. Believe that shit? I did. I panhandled in 2021. Not 2021. 2012. I was so desperate after I got my MBA. I couldn't find work. And I was doing the NAMI thing, in our own voice. Parents and Teachers as Allies. There's another one, National Alliance on Mental Illness. They have all these speech things. And you sign up to give speeches and they train you. And you get like $40 every speech. So I was getting like $100 a month. Maybe $250 a month. That's what I was getting. Because I couldn't get unemployment. Because if you're not working, You can't get unemployment. So, March, my job ended. No income in April. No income in May. So, yeah. I won't be able to get unemployment next year if I'm not working. But the system is designed on fear. It's designed to make you fearful. I'm not buying it anymore. What I am seeking is seeking me. And I will not go into fear. I will not. I will trust the universe. It has my back. I felt my mother's love. It was beautiful today. For an hour or two, it was beautiful. That mirror thing I did, it was beautiful. I was like, oh my God. I was laying in bed for 2 hours. It was beautiful. I was already outside. I spent time outside in nature. It was beautiful. Try to do that when you're working in accounting. Try to do that when you're doing taxes. Try to do that when you're a defense attorney in the courtroom. Try to do that in those, high left analytical brain. The system wants you in fear. And I'm not buying it. I'm not. Be well, my friends. Be well.